Shalom. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Ha-Rakah Kudash. Double honors goes unto the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us this truth. And also want to acknowledge all the Akim who are pushing the truth with sincerity. All right, so I've been wanting to do this story or this lesson since last night. So time finally permitted me to do this. But what it is last night I was watching the pregame show for the NFL football game between the Houston Texans and the Indianapolis Colts. And during the pregame show, what happened is they were introducing and announcing the birthdays of two of the analysts, right? And you had, I have them right here on the top. It says Michael Strahan and Troy Aikman. All right, so, we here in the truth, we don't celebrate the pagan, holidays, including birthdays, because those are pagan traditions, okay? So what I noticed, was, beyond me, basically. I was, see, when you're in this truth, you see everything with a spiritual eye. So while I was watching that pregame show, I noticed what these devils were doing in this pregame show. And it was literally like a demonic ritual, all right? But it goes unseen to the masses and to the average Joe, if you will, just because you people aren't diligent and you don't have the knowledge of the truth, so you're in darkness according to the Bible. All right. So, but the point I'm gonna make, is really simple, real quick. So first off, I want to show you, because they announced that both Troy Aikman, I'm going to go ahead and click on him. And right here, if you look at this, it says he was born on November 21st, 1966. All right, so yesterday during that pregame show, they were wishing him a happy birthday. And yesterday was the 21st of November. And, there's the images. Most people know who Troy Aikman is, So, anyway, there's November 21st, 1966. Start off with him. And then I'll backtrack. And then I'm going to go to Michael Strahan. All right, and that's Michael Strahan. Most people know who Michael Strahan is, too. Football player. He used to play for the Giants, right? This guy's an Israelite. And Troy Aikman is an Edomite, right? So now if you look at his birthday, November 21st, 1971. So again, also November 21st. So it was both their birthdays yesterday. And Fox, which is actually the 666 network, you can do your own research on that, but this is the show, the pregame show, that they were doing this demonic ritual. But like I said, if you don't have a spiritual eye, if you're not diligent, these things will go right over your head, And let's just pull out a scripture real quick just to back up what I'm saying. And I'm going to show you what the ritual is and what they did, because Fox is literally a 666 channel, all right? Let me just go to Hosea real quick. It says, Hosea 4:6, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no more priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of Yahweh. I will also forget thy children." All right. So nobody has knowledge, man, and Yahweh is going to reject you because you've rejected knowledge. And this is dealing with Israelites, the 2/3. All right, I just did a video on the 2/3. But Yahweh says, I'm going to also reject you, and you're not going to be a priest to me anymore. All right, because so-called black men, so-called Native American men, and so-called Hispanic men, we're supposed to be priests, meaning, knowing this truth, knowing the knowledge and the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Holy Scriptures. All right, so just wanted to make that point really quick. But this is what I wanted to show you guys. All right, so what they did is, this is the cake that they had for Michael Strahan. And they only did this for Michael Strahan in his birthday. They didn't have a cake for Troy Aikman, who's, like I say, yesterday was also his birthday. All right. So if you look at this to the normal person, normal eye, it's just a cake with Michael Strahan's head, right? But to the men of the truth who are diligent, when I saw this, I couldn't believe. Well, I could believe it because I know these are devils, setting up these rituals. But this is a cake with Michael Strahan's head on it, which is symbolic to what they did to John the Baptist. All right, they also put John the Baptist's head on a platter. These Romans who became Europeans, who became Americans, right? Because America is an extension of the Roman Empire. All right. So in Rome, this is what happened on the birthday of Herod, the King Herod. All right. So let me get into the scripture and show you what I'm talking about. All right. So we're going to go, and they didn't put a cake with Troy Aikman's head on it. They only did Michael Strahan, who is, he's the Israelite out of the two. All right, so I'm going to go to Mark 6, and we're going to start at 18. And it says, For John had said unto Herod, It is not lawful for thee to have thy brother's wife. Therefore Herodias had a quarrel against him, and would have killed him, but she could not. All right, and Herod was the king. Herodias, she was his King Herod's wife, but she was actually, originally married to Herod's brother. So they were actually in an adulterous, union. So Herodias, she didn't like John the Baptist because he pointed out the truth. He said, hey, y'all are committing adultery and it's unlawful. So let's start it back at verse 20. It says, For Herod feared John, knowing that he was just a man and unholy, and observed him. And when he heard him, he did many things, and he heard him gladly. And let me back up. Let me see. Oh, okay. I should have started at 17. For Herod himself had sent forth and laid hold upon John, and bound him in prison for Herodias' sake, his brother Philip's wife, for he had married her. So King Herod married Herodias, who was Philip's wife. And then what John have to say about it? This is verse 18. For John had said unto Herod, It is not lawful for thee to have thy brother's wife. All right. So let's go to the quick precept on that. It's in Leviticus 18:20, and this is a basic law that most people know. Leviticus 18:20. Moreover, thou shalt not lie carnally with thy neighbor's wife to defile thyself with her. All right, so Yeah, let's go to 16. Leviticus 18 and 16. Thou shalt not uncover the nakedness of thy brother's wife. It is thy brother's nakedness. All right. So, you're not supposed to get married to your brother's wife while he's still alive. And that's what Herod was doing. All right. He married Herodias, Philip's wife, his brother Philip. So John basically just said, hey, it's not lawful in verse 18, Mark 6:18. For John had said unto Herod, it is not lawful for thee to have the brother's wife. Therefore Herodias had a quarrel against him. And she was hating on him because he was speaking on her, the queen, King Herod's wife, and would have killed him, but she could not. Verse 20. For Herod feared John, knowing that he was a just man and holy, and observed him, and when he heard him, he did many things, and he heard him gladly. And when a convenient day was come, that Herod on his birthday made a supper to his lords, high captains, and chief estates of Galilee. So now he's basically got all his, all the noble men in Rome, right? So, and let me just go to another precept real quick, because this happened in Genesis also, showing you that the Pharaoh, the king of Rome, and the president of the United States, it's all the same thing, man. Donald Trump is the king of Babylon. He's the modern Pharaoh. But we're going to go to Genesis 40 and 20. And this says, and it came to pass the third day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants, and he lifted up the head of the chief butler and of the chief baker among his servants. And he restored the chief butler unto his butlership again, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted to them. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgat him. And the reason why it says that is because Joseph interpreted some dreams to the butler and the baker, right? And the baker he fell at the short end of the stick. In verse 22, it says, but he hanged the chief baker, as Joseph had interpreted to them. So this was a heathen pagan thing, started out in Egypt, right? Which they were, they literally on Pharaoh's birthday, they basically sacrificed the baker in this case, all right? The butler got restored to his position, but Joseph, before they did any of this, interpreted the dreams that they had while they were all three in prison, right? And he told them both their fates, and their fates came true, because Yahweh was dealing with Joseph in the book of Genesis, all right? So now let's go back to Mark. So we'll start back on Mark 6:21. And when a convenient day was come, that Herod on his birthday made a supper to his lords, high captains, and chief estates of Galilee, right? Because Herod was practicing the same pagan shit as Pharaoh, right? That's why you have a dollar bill with a pyramid on it, right? Because America, Rome, Egypt, this is spiritual Egypt where we are now in America, Babylon, all right? Verse 22, and when the daughter of the said Herodias came in and danced and pleased Herod and them that sat with him, and the king said unto the damsel, ask of me whatsoever thou wilt, and I will give it thee. All right. So Herod's, basically Herodias' daughter was dancing for the king Herod, and it was probably a seduction dance, something wicked, verse 23, and he sware unto him, whatsoever thou shalt ask of me, I will give it thee unto the half of my kingdom. And she went forth and said unto her mother, what shall I ask? And she said, the head of John the Baptist. And she came in straightway with haste unto the king, and asked, saying, I will that thou give me by and by in a charger the head of John the Baptist. So her daughter asked Herodias, who was the wife, hey, what should I ask him for? And this bitch said she wanted the head of John the Baptist. All right. And this is verse 26. And the king was exceeding sorry, yet for his oath's sake and for their sakes which sat with him, he would not reject her. And immediately the king sent an executioner and commanded his head to be brought. And he went and beheaded him in prison. And this was John the Baptist. This is how he died. In prison. He got his head chopped off at the request of Herodias' daughter. All right. And verse 28. And brought his head in a charger and gave it to a damsel, and the damsel gave it to her mother. And when his disciples heard of it, they came and took up his corpse and laid it in a tomb. All right, so that's all I'm going to read on that. But, the same thing which was on the birthday, right, of Herod, King Herod in Rome, there was requested John the Baptist's head on a charger, which a charger is another word for dishes. So on a dish or a platter. And we could actually look it up. Let's see. Oops, let me see. Interlinear. So in the Greek, we just scroll down to charger right there at the top. And it literally... There it is, a charger. Let's hear it.
Strong's G 4094, Pinox.
So it's Pinox in Greek. All right. Let me see. Yeah, I still got to see, I'm not good on the Blue Letter Bible on the phone. I always do it on my laptop. So I'm going to actually... Let's see. All right, so there it is. Oops, let me close this out. So there it is, charger. If you type in the word charger on the Blue Letter Bible, the Hebrew word is agartel, quara, and it's charger, it's dishes, right? And then if you look down here in the Greek, it's pinox. We just read that. And then it's platter, all right? So she wanted his head on a platter, in other words, right? That's what a charger is. But that's what that wicked ass Roman Edomite asked for. Then we go back to Michael Strahan and his coon ass. You see him with a big old smile. And like I said, it was Troy Aikman's birthday, who was an Edomite, who would have been a descendant of Rome. And then you have Michael Strahan, who is an Israelite, who would have been descendant of Jacob, all right? So you have Jacob and Esau, Troy Aikman was a descendant of Esau. Michael Strahan is a descendant of Jacob. And then you saw this wicked ritual on Fox Sports, and they got the head of Michael Strahan on a platter, right? And you should have saw his coon ass. He was all happy to cut the cake, and I wish I had the video, but I couldn't find it. It's too recent. But this coon, he was so happy to, big old smile, just like he does. They made him on the cake, and because of lack of knowledge, like we brought out in Hosea, Let's go back to that real quick. And this is why you 2/3 have to be destroyed, because you're so oblivious and you're so wicked that the Lord has put you in darkness and you don't even see shit. Like Michael Strahan, he had no idea they were mocking him, and they were, literally that they want him dead. When this Jacob's trouble comes to America, they're gonna want him dead, man. And here's Hosea 4 and 6. My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, and thou shalt be no more priest to me. Seeing thou hast forgotten the law of Yahweh, I will also forget thy children. All right. So lack of knowledge, man. You have Michael Strahan just literally, he was so happy to cut this cake yesterday on his birthday, right? And they're flattering him, right, with this cake. And really, the elite and the people who own Fox, they know what the hell they're doing. They know this was a mockery of, the scriptures. You know, they're putting John the Baptist's head on a platter. And now here in Babylon, our people in so much darkness, they forgot who they were. They don't know they're the Israelites. Now you got them happy to take part in this demonic ritual, right? And just one more verse really quick. Let me see. It's in Job, the verse I want to bring out. I just can't remember exactly. We'll go back to Job. But this is why we don't and we shouldn't celebrate birthdays, because it's a pagan tradition, and it's both times that birthdays are mentioned in the Bible, there were murders, right? First, the chief baker in Genesis chapter 40, and then in Mark you had John the Baptist, who was beheaded. John the Baptist was a prophet. All right. So now we're going to go to Job 3 and 8. And even the prophet Job cursed his birthday. It says, let them curse it that curse the day, who are ready to rise up in their mourning. All right. So literally Job cursed his day. What was his day? His birthday. All right. Job was a righteous prophet who knew the truth, and he wasn't going around cutting cakes on his birthday. He wasn't going around making a mockery of the truth unknowingly. And Michael Strahan did it because he's a fool, right? He's so caught up in Esau's kingdom that they're making a mockery of him, and he doesn't even know it. So now I'm going to go to Revelation 20, chapter 20, verse 2. And we'll just read it at 2. And he laid hold on the dragon, that old serpent, which is the devil and Satan, and bound him 1,000 years, and cast him into the bottomless pit, and shut him up, and set a seal upon him, that he should deceive the nations no more. Right? Because Michael Strahan is deceived, man. He's over there happily cutting his birthday cake when they're mocking him like John the Baptist with his head on a platter. All right. Till the 1,000 years should be fulfilled, and after that he must be loosed a little season. And I saw the thrones, and they sat upon them, and the judgment was given unto them. And this is talking about the prophets, because the prophets are gonna be the judges at the gates, all right, of heaven. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai, and for the word of Yahweh, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands. And they lived and reigned with Yahweh Shai 1,000 years. All right. So, the prophets were going to be, judging the nations. All right. And it's because we're not worshiping the beast, right? We're not celebrating birthdays. We're not in a Christian or a Catholic church, or any church for that matter, set up by the white man, the so-called white man. No, instead, we're receiving the mark of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai in our foreheads, right? And in our hands, right? So, but the thing is some of us are going to lose our lives. Some of us will be beheaded, just like John the Baptist was, for our testimony of Yahweh Shai. All right. But You know, you got a lot of these coons who it's oblivious to them, and they have no idea what's going on, and they have no idea how these demons are mocking them, all right? But with that, I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Ha-Rakah Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles, a great millstone, for teaching us this truth. And I want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are out there pushing this truth with sincerity. Shalom to the elect.